not really a new phenomenon. But the rivalry between RSS and CPM has been bloody for years together. But today, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan accused the SDPI and RSS of vitiating the atmosphere in the state and blamed them for violence. Pinarayi Vijayan stood up on the floor of the assembly and accused RSS and SDPI leadership of sowing seeds of communalism in the state. He went on to draw a parallel with what's happening in other states and said this has to be stopped in Kerala.
ഈ ശക്തികൾക്കൊന്നും തകർക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്നതല്ല കേരളത്തിന്റെ ക്രമസമാധാന നില. ഈ രണ്ട് വർഗീയ ശക്തികളും അതിന് നേതൃത്വം കൊടുക്കുന്ന RSS ആയാലും SDPI ആയാലും ആ രണ്ട് കൂട്ടരും നമ്മുടെ നാടിൻ്റെ പൊതുവായ സമാധാനം തകർക്കാനാണ് ശ്രമിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആ രണ്ടിനെയും ഒന്നിച്ചു കൂട്ടാൻ കഴിയുന്ന
Now, the Chief Minister's comments come just a day after State's High Court acquitted 13 RSS activists accused of a murder of CPM youth wing leader back in 2008. Court wrapped the prosecution for trying to tutor witnesses and form a scripted story to frame the RSS workers. Court has also observed that there was absolutely no evidence worth its salt and prosecution had failed to prove any corroborative circumstances. RSS is now slamming the left for framing its men and making their families suffer for 14 long years.
You know, the most of the Marxist leaders who have been killed are due to the fractional fight between the CPI, CPM on the one hand and within the party of CPM. To hide the shame of the factionalism and violence erupting inside the party, they accuse the RSS. This judgment of Kerala High Court exposes the real character of the Communist Party of India, Marxist in Kerala. Now it's the moral duty of Sitaram Yechuri to apologize before the nation the suffering of 13 RSS workers and their families for decades.
Yesterday, the Honorable High Court of Kerala has once again vindicated what the Sangha has been telling for so many decades. You know, in Kerala, the Marxist party using its red police, I would like to call the Kerala police as red police, highly politicized police force in the whole country, that is Kerala police. That red police, it is prosecuting the innocent using cooked up evidence while protecting the party's murders, goons and smugglers. This is the case which is going on and we are complaining this aspect for several decades.
Joining me now is Vivek Karindalam from Kerala as well as Madhav from the newsroom. Vivek, coming to you first. Now, this statement from Chief Minister came in the context of killings that have happened in Kannur. What really makes him believe that there is RSS, SDPI hand behind those murders?
If you look at the last 2 years, there has been number of such incidents that has happened in Kerala where it is not just political violence like used to report earlier, it's actually communal violence that's been reported in Palakkad and Alappuzha district. If you look at last year, there has been 3 RSS leaders who were murdered and there were 2 SDPI leaders who were murdered. Now, in most of these cases, the RSS and the BJP has been alleging that it is, the CPM who is supporting the SDPI. There are even people who say that in the morning these people work as CPM workers, in the night these are SDPI activists. So such kind of allegations are there already. Now it's in this context that Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has made this statement.
Vivek, do stay on the line with me because I'm now joined by Rakesh Sinha, Rajya Sabha MP from the BJP. Mr. Sinha, what do you have to say about these comments coming in from Chief Minister of Kerala, especially on a day when judgment details have come to fore where the court has said that there have been instances where there have been attempts to frame RSS men in crimes of murder?
Pinarayi Vijayan is trying to create a situation where people should get diverted from the court's verdict. Court has categorically said that 13 RSS accused for killing of the CPM person and now they are acquitted, and the court has observed on the culture and politics of violence. In fact, violence is the creed of the CPM in Kerala. They are in collusion with the Popular Front of India, and both together are trying to polarize the society in such a way that Kerala society has become a fractured society. At the time, Kerala was a cohesive society, so transformation and mutation is all due to the CPN and the Muslim League. And the Leaguers and the Marxists both are hand in glove on the question of RSS. The reason is that RSS has been expanding and it has been grabbing the social base of the CPM. So this is the region of the intolerance. Therefore, almost 50 RSS workers have been killed in the last 2.5 decades, and the responsibility goes to primarily to the CPM. And more important thing, the culture of violence initiated by himself by Pinari Vijayan. He is accused of killing of a RSS worker in 1960s. So it started from him. He is also accused inside the party for sidelining all those people who disfavor the alliance, informal alliance with PFI, like Achyutanandan, believe that are dominating this CPM from inside and outside. So Achyutanandan has been systematically sidelined by the Pinari Vijayan group. Moreover, one more important thing now, those who claim in New Delhi, in Gopalan Bhavan, sitting in Gopalan Bhavan like Sitaram Yechuri and Prakash.
Definitely a lot of questions coming in the way of Pinarayi Vijayan. Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for joining us. Madhav, if I could come to you on a day when Pinarayi Vijayan says that RSS and SDPI are trying to destroy the peace in our state, a court has actually come out to say that it could have been the other way around, that they have been trying to tutor evidences, witnesses in order to supposedly fix RSS men.
Well, absolutely, and these are some of the important points coming in from the court itself, where the court has said that the manner in which events were portrayed smacks of a deliberate attempt to tutor witnesses. They've also said it's a deliberate attempt to collect evidence to define a scripted story, and the prosecution miserably failed to prove incriminating circumstances against the accused. Eyewitness testimonies are incredulous, identification is unbelievable, and recoveries by prosecution unsubstantiated in the seizures leading to nothing. So in the context of this particular court verdict, the comments of the Chief Minister become that much more shocking, because clearly the imputation here is that the left had at some way tried to not just fix this particular case, but had also in fact very shockingly tried to tutor witnesses, and in that sense perhaps wasn't able to substantiate a case which in fact led to these RSS cadre walking out freely. At a time like this also, why this comment is shocking is that while he's quick to blame the RSS, he's quick to blame the SDPI, what of the role about his own party's workers of the CPM who have been accused and have been very much part of very many cases of similar violence in Kerala, and particularly in North Kerala's Kannur, which is a CPM stronghold. So those two aspects certainly make the Chief Minister's comments very shocking, which is why we are seeing these very sharp reactions coming in from the BJP, the RSS, and of course the SDPI as well.
Do stay on with us, because we've got some breaking developments coming in after the break. On the other side, we'll also need your expertise on that. We take a very quick break.